Hey everyone, my name is Sophie from Sophisticated Organization. Welcome back to another Sophisticated Saturday where together we work through my to-do list and get things done around the house. And today we're starting in the basement, which I don't share often, mostly because we're not down here a lot. We have been down here a little bit more recently, even though it's the summer and Owen loves to be outside. He's been pretty into coloring recently, and this is where we keep all of his craft supplies. So he had his crayons everywhere and his paper, and I needed to get that put away before I went back upstairs to the kitchen, where you all know I spend a lot of my time on the weekends just because I've been cooking throughout the week and there's a lot of cleaning typically to do in the kitchen, and I do try and meal prep as much as I can over the weekends. Sometimes I do a little bit more complicated recipes over the weekends, or I like to bake a little bit if I have extra time. I don't have a ton of time on the weekends just because the only time I really have both of my hands are when Owen's sleeping, so nap time, which is maybe like an hour and a half, potentially 2, but oftentimes it's closer to an hour, and then once he goes to bed. But I'm obviously not cooking the entire time he's sleeping. There's other things that I'm doing, whether it's relaxing or doing other things for myself or for the house. So I was today during his nap time putting away the dishes that we ran in the morning and just getting those put away as quickly as I could. The plan for today was to have brunch. Jim requested, I asked him what he wanted to eat, and one of his favorite things that I make is these breakfast sandwiches, which are actually quite easy to make. I think they're really good too, so I don't mind when he wants them or requests them. So I make them usually with like a ciabatta bread or a really thick bread, but we went to a local bakery and picked up some ciabatta that was like pre-sliced. It turned out really crunchy, which you'll see in just a little bit, but I'm following the same steps that I usually do. So I just drizzle some olive oil on top of it usually, and then bake it in the oven. And while I'm doing that, I also get bacon on the skillet and cook that up. I'm wondering, do you have a preferred method of cooking bacon? Because I'm convinced there's no clean method, there's no perfect method to cooking bacon. I know you can do it in the oven, but then I feel like there are splatters in your oven, and I like really well done crispy bacon so I can have a good eye on it when it's in the skillet, but it does get a little bit messy and you have to avoid those oil splatters. One of the other components of this sandwich is Gouda. Gouda cheese is so delicious and it's so smoky and brings just a lot of flavor to the sandwich, so I always do Gouda cheese, and I like fresh Gouda cheese. You can sometimes find sliced Gouda depending on what type of grocery store you go to, but it is a little bit more difficult to find, and I find that the flavor is just like not as strong as when you get a block of Gouda cheese. While the bacon continues to sizzle away, because that's what really takes the longest, I'm going to clean up the living room here. We had toys everywhere, as we usually do. Maybe not as bad as usual, but this is always a pretty quick task, as you can tell, because I'm able to do it while the bacon is still cooking there. I also take the opportunity to fix the pillows on the couch because we spend our morning hanging out on the couch wrapped in blankets. We move the pillows all around so we can all hang out there, and I just like to have it nice and neat because when the pillows are everywhere and the blankets are everywhere, it makes things look a lot messier than I think they are in all reality. So once I've toasted the bread in the oven for just a little bit, then I take it out. I put those slices of Gouda cheese on one side of the bread. You'll see I'm making 6 pieces of bread, so 3 sandwiches there. Jim said he was very hungry, so I made him 2 sandwiches, and then I roast that in the oven on a pretty high temperature because I like to get it melty and get the bread crispy, and I am slicing up some avocado in the meantime. The other thing that I made in advance just to make this a little bit easier was I made some aioli, and the aioli is basically just mayo, lemon juice, fresh garlic, and olive oil. I don't measure it at all. I just kind of taste test back and forth, and it is so good. It's probably, I know I said the Gouda was something that makes a sandwich, but it is the lemon garlic aioli, hands down. It's maybe not the healthiest sandwich, especially with how much I like to load up on that aioli. And I also cook the eggs in just like the tiniest bit of the leftover bacon grease. The flavor in the eggs is delicious. I'm telling you, this breakfast sandwich, I know why it's one of Jim's favorites. I know why it's one of my favorites to have. And we will make this for breakfast, brunch, and sometimes do breakfast for dinner, and it's always a hit. But you can tell how crunchy this bread is, and that's why I usually like a thicker, big, fluffy ciabatta roll of some sort, because this kind of just crumbled in our mouths when we bit into it. The toast was really, really crispy. So I would suggest a thicker bread if you're going to recreate this breakfast sandwich. Okay, breakfast is done, or brunch is done, whatever that was. And I took a little break there, and now the laundry is done. I washed our white laundry today, and I am going to fold my stuff and then just put Jim's stuff nice and neat on his side of the bed so he can take care of his pile. I like to lay it out so it doesn't get too wrinkly for him, but he doesn't mind folding his, and honestly, I have a lot of other stuff on my to-do list, so I am going to just focus on my laundry and let him do his. We also just got a new mattress in our guest room, so that's why I'm remaking the guest room bed here. And I had a mattress that was a little over 10 years old. I think it was like my first mattress that I got when I was in college. And Jim's brother was moving and had a relatively new, very nice, expensive mattress. And so even though this is the guest room, he didn't have anywhere else to put it. He didn't really want to go through selling it or anything like that. So we gladly took it and upgraded our guest room mattress. So we're gonna have to figure out how to get rid of our old one, but I think this will be really nice for my parents who stay here often, and I do have sometimes friends who drive through. In general, this guest room does get a fair amount of use, so it'll be nice to have a newer mattress even though it's not slept on every single night. So I did rewash the sheets. I let them sit for a little bit so they are kind of wrinkly, but we have a friend staying with us this weekend who's one of my close college friends. I don't think she'll mind, and then I'll wash it again after her and put it away a lot faster so it's not as wrinkly. Today is just random task day. The toilets needed cleaning. I'm just showing you cleaning one of the toilets here, but I cleaned the inside with the best Clorox disposable toilet wand that helps make everything nice and clean, and you don't have to worry about that gross toilet brush and all the bacteria. I did clean the rest of the toilets in the house, but just showed one of them. You don't need to see me cleaning that many toilets. And of course, I changed out the rag between every single one and washed my hands after touching that gross toilet before I'm back downstairs in the kitchen and pulling out all of the organizers that I have in our refrigerator, because if you follow me on Instagram, you know that our refrigerator died. It's not like completely broken, but it is high 40 degrees and it has been fluctuating in there like low 50s, and a refrigerator, at least this one says it should be 37 degrees. So I'm not storing anything in there that really needs to be refrigerated. I've just left some condiments in the door, but we have our new refrigerator being delivered very soon. So I want to clean out those organizers. I have no idea if they're gonna fit in my new refrigerator, but regardless, I'm gonna give it a shot before I go out and try and purchase anything new. So hopefully they fit. If they don't, I will be able to most likely repurpose them around the house for other things. I do that with my organizers all the time. I just reshuffle things depending on our needs, which constantly change for a variety of different reasons. But no matter what happens, they need to be cleaned out. And I am pulling off all of these reusable labels. A lot of these organizers are from the company Utopia. I will link as many of the fridge organizers as I can in here, but I'm also planning on filming a new refrigerator organization video because I know how much you guys love the fridge organization and freezer organization videos, and I frankly love organizing my fridge and freezer, so I can't wait to share that with all of you. But most of all, I just can't wait to have a refrigerator that is working again. The last thing on my to-do list for today was to do some meal planning. So I grabbed my meal planning binders and got to sitting down with my computer and was going to build a grocery list online to place an order pickup at the same time as I was meal planning and looking through my binders. One thing that I knew I wanted to make and had to pick up today was a meal for a little cookout and grilling barbecue situation, because my friend and her mom were driving through and staying with us. So in addition to probably doing like burgers and brats or something, I wanted to find some really good side dishes. I think I'm going to do a cucumber watermelon feta salad and grill some balsamic marinated mushrooms that I've done before, which are really good, and then was just meal planning for the rest of the week as well. That's all for today's video. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope that you have a great weekend, and until next time, I will see you all later.